The courtroom door felt heavier than it had any right to feel when I pushed it open, stepping inside in the same worn suit I had used for job interviews years ago, the only formal clothing I owned. My parents were already seated in the front row, wrapped in designer outfits that sparkled under the harsh lights, while my brother lounged beside them, tapping away on his phone like this entire case was a minor inconvenience or some kind of boring errand he had been forced to attend. My mother noticed me first, her perfectly lined eyes narrowing as she leaned toward my father to whisper something that made him roll his eyes. He did it openly, not even trying to hide the annoyance, as if my presence was a burden and this entire hearing was an unnecessary performance created by me for attention. Their lawyer, a man who charged enough per hour to cover my rent for months, arranged his papers with a relaxed confidence, the look of someone who believed this would be easy. He thought I would fold, apologize, hand everything over, and make their job simple, but he had no idea what I had brought with me or how long I had been preparing. I placed my old briefcase on the defendant's table, each folder inside labeled, tabbed, and organized with the precision Grandpa taught me. To understand the storm that was about to break, you would need to know the beginning. I was never the favored child. My brother got the opportunities, the guidance, the gifts, while I collected student loans, night shifts, and a basement apartment that smelled like damp concrete. But Grandpa saw me differently. He believed in my ability to survive, and he had spent years quietly teaching me how to protect myself in ways I didn't understand until now. Grandpa used to tell me to save everything, receipts, letters, emails, documents, because proof mattered more than feelings. At the time, I thought it was an odd habit from an old man, but after he passed, that collection of proof became the armor I needed. His will stunned everyone. My brother received the house, my parents gained the investment accounts, and I was given the education fund, a fund I assumed held a modest amount. But Grandpa had been seeding it for decades, quietly growing it until it reached a value none of us expected. When the lawyer read the total, over $1 million, my mother's face went pale. The air shifted. Suddenly, I wasn't invisible. I was a target. 2 weeks later, my parents called a family meeting, and I walked in to find not only them and my brother, but also a lawyer I had never seen before. They slid a document toward me labeled Family Harmony Agreement, wrapped in warm language, but cold intentions. It demanded I transfer my entire inheritance into a family-controlled account, one they would manage while giving me a small allowance like I was a child. Their words were coated with sweetness, telling me it was for my protection, that I had never shown skill with handling money, that this was for my future stability. When I asked what would happen if I refused, my father's voice lost all warmth. He said we would do this the hard way. They gave me 72 hours, but I didn't need 72 seconds. I walked out, choosing myself. Exactly 72 hours later, I was served papers. They claimed I was financially incompetent and petitioned the court to put my mother in charge of everything I owned. My job placed me on leave because of the public filing, my friends suggested compromise, and my brother smeared me online. But they underestimated what Grandpa had left behind. When I opened Grandpa's old binder, worn at the corners and smelling faintly like his workshop, I found the sentence that changed everything. Section 7, subsection D. If any beneficiary attempted to seize another beneficiary's inheritance through legal action, they would forfeit their own share. Grandpa had even written a note in the margin in his looping handwriting, telling me to keep it safe, reminding me to trust but verify. Armed with that clause, I sent my family a certified letter demanding they withdraw their petition within 48 hours. Instead of backing down, they doubled their attack with forged documents claiming Grandpa had amended the will before his death. They expected me to panic, but Grandpa had taught me better. I investigated, calling the notary listed on the amendment, only to learn she had never met my grandfather. A forensic examiner studied the signature and confirmed it had been traced. Even the paper stock was from a year after Grandpa died. Digging deeper revealed a darker truth. My brother's business was drowning in debt, my parents' house was slipping toward foreclosure, and their investments had evaporated. They weren't simply greedy. They were desperate. They believed taking me down would save them. Instead, it destroyed their case. I filed a counter petition for fraud, fiduciary breach, and enforcement of the forfeiture clause. But I also revealed something they had never expected. I had secretly passed the bar exam 6 months earlier. No one knew, not my friends, not my family, not even my employer. When the judge asked whether I had representation, I stood and said I would be speaking as my own attorney. The courtroom froze. Their lawyer went pale. My mother's mouth fell open. My brother's smirk vanished like smoke. I laid out everything before the judge. The original clause, the forged amendment, the forensic report, and the evidence of desperation that drove my family to betray me. The judge asked the simplest question possible. Did the petitioners have any explanation? They had none. The ruling came swiftly and decisively. The petition was dismissed with prejudice. The forfeiture clause activated, stripping my parents and brother of their inheritance and redirecting their shares into a scholarship fund Grandpa had created for students who grew up with the odds stacked against them. The judge also imposed sanctions for their misconduct and referred the forgery for further investigation. They had walked into the courtroom prepared to take everything from me, but instead they walked out with nothing. My brother eventually filed for bankruptcy. My parents relocated to a much smaller home, and their expensive lawyer quietly abandoned them. Meanwhile, I paid off my student loans, bought a modest condo filled with sunlight, and opened my own legal practice to help people trapped in the same kind of manipulation I had survived. Mom emailed months later saying she was sorry things had become complicated, an apology without remorse. I responded politely, but kept my distance. My brother asked to meet for coffee. I said maybe someday, but not now. Every morning, when I sit at my desk and look at Grandpa's photo, I remember the lesson that saved my life. Love without respect is not love at all. It is control. And the second lesson, the one Grandpa repeated the most, always keep your receipts, because truth is the strongest weapon you will ever hold. If you enjoyed this story, make sure to subscribe, hit the like button, and share it with your friends. Your support helps us bring more powerful real-life stories to you.